guys, welcome to another episode of Ask shAMA, where you guys ask me questions and I do my best to answer them. So this question comes from Shoheb, who sent me an email and said, "Hey shAMA, I wanted to ask for some advice. I started my company right out of school since 2014. I've been working full-time on my venture. Every day I'm making progress, but the daily ups and downs of having your own business is getting to me. What was your experience when you were first starting off, and how did you handle the day-to-day stress?" So Shoheb, excellent questions. And we've all been there. If you run your own business, if you actually even have a job these days, the workplace tends to be really demanding and the pressure is on. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with kind of the day-to-day, especially when running your own business, and not let it get you down? So couple of things that I'll share with you, Shoheb, that I hope will help you. One is my personal story. Obviously, many of you know that I started my company right out of grad school when I was 23 years old and had no background business prior experience in the corporate world or otherwise. And of course, today I run the Marketing Zen Group, which is a 30-person web marketing digital PR firm. Blows my mind, but there were definitely days which were difficult. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's just kind of the process of being an entrepreneur. There are still days where I look up and I'm like, remind me why I do this again. And of course, I look at a lot of you, I'm like, oh yes, I do love what I do. So, a couple of tips that I'll share with you. The first thing is to not let the thoughts become permanent. And what I mean by that is just by having awareness that you may be having a tough day and today's tougher, but tomorrow will be better, can really give you that strength that you need to keep going. I think it's this thought of, oh my God, this is how I feel and this is how I'm going to feel forever. That's what really gets a lot of people down. So I think you have to be able to look at it and say, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking is impermanent. I will feel differently tomorrow. Today, maybe you had to fire someone and you feel terrible about it. Tomorrow, you may land that client you were really after and you may feel better. So you have to know that how you feel will continue to change day by day. The other thing is take time to celebrate the little wins. And this is something, full confession, I'm always really honest with you guys. I'm not great at this. And what I mean by that is you have to take time to appreciate the wins. For me, it's always about what can we do better, stronger, faster. But it really is important to take a breath and to say, hey, what do I appreciate? What am I really grateful for? And while I do have a lot of gratitude for a lot of things in my life, really a lot of things, I do have a hard time slowing down and savoring our success sometimes. My team is really great about that, and they'll remind me and say, hey shAMA, this client just signed another year with us. They loved what we were doing. That's exciting. We should take a moment and celebrate. So do celebrate your little wins. The other thing I'll say is, keeping in mind that there'll always be something more that you want to accomplish, do. There's always going to be something else you desire, and that's okay. That is human nature. So I have to remind myself of that often. For me, it's a moving target. It's never like one day you wake up and you're like, well, I'm here. I've made it. I'm going back to bed. It's that you always want something more, and that striving, that desire for it, that's what really drives me, at least, and my passion to keep going, because I know that I'm never going to be fully satisfied, that I enjoy the process too much, that I love building and creating and sharing, and that's what drives me. So these are questions you definitely have to ask yourself. The other thing that I would recommend is you check out this Japanese concept, which I've become recently a fan of, called Wabi Sabi. And very simply put, and I'm really distilling it, Wabi Sabi is this idea that everything is impermanent and that's okay. Everything has its time and place, a time to grow, a time to stand still, a time to hold back, a time to speak up, and authenticity is so key. And I really like this concept because it means that you don't have to be so focused on perfectionist tendencies of saying, hey, I've got to get it perfect. No, you just got to get it started, and you have to be willing to learn along the way. And as long as you keep learning, you're doing just fine. I promise you. Hope that helped, Shoheb. Would love to hear if you guys have more questions for me or keep up with all our content. Definitely go to shamahyder.com and subscribe. That'll put you on our VIP list, and that way you will be in the know. Everything I know, I share. All right, guys, tune in next week.